Hello and welcome back. Last time we showed you how to build for Android, and now this time we'll show you how to do it for iOS. So let's click on iOS and switch the platform. There we go, the platform is now switched. And you can see we now have the iPhone aspect ratios. So we have iPhone 5 tall, wide, iPhone tall, iPhone tall, iPhone 4 tall. Usually you would just go ahead and use iPhone 5 tall, because this is going to work perfectly for our game. We can run our game, you will see it's running perfectly fine. Everything's working. We have a nice, fun game. Okay, so let's go ahead and check our build settings. So let's hit build settings and go to the player settings for iOS. And here again, as for the for the Android build, we have our company name. If you're working for Activision, that's going to be Activision. You're probably not, but maybe you are, who knows. Now product name, the name of your game. In our case, it's color switch. The default icon, the icon that is going to be displayed on phones for your game, is going to go here. And here we have the resolution presentation. The orientation for this game should be portrait, but it can you can choose it to be portrait upside down. Landscape right and landscape left could break the game because it wasn't intended to be played like that. And also I wouldn't recommend auto rotation for this game. The icon, same as Android, you're just going to have your icon here. Splash image, again, if you're using the free version you will have this Made with Unity logo, but if not, you can have your own splash screens. You also have different splash screens for different iPhones or iPads. Then we have to go ahead and go to other settings, and here things are a bit different than in the Android version, Android build. The same thing goes. We have the bundle identifier, which is company name, product name. We have the version and we have the build. Let's set it to 1. And here we have something that we didn't have in Android, which is automatically sign. And here it says automatic signing team. So you might be wondering, what is this? Well, when building for Apple, in general, when building any apps for Apple, be it the App Store or the Mac OS X store, you need to use Xcode. Xcode is a software developed by Apple that is kind of a programming tool similar to Visual Studio, but it also packages your apps for deployment on the Apple stores. And sadly, if you don't have a Mac, you won't be able to use Xcode. There isn't a version of Xcode for Windows, but of course you can download a virtual machine on your Windows and install Mac OS X on that virtual machine and then install Xcode on it. But it's very hard to be an Apple developer if you don't have a Mac, which is unfortunate. I'm not sure why Apple is doing that, but anyways, let's continue with our development. So the automatic signing team, in our case, I will put the name Dragan Nešković, but you should put your own name here. You will see why later, because this is going to be the same name you are registered to Apple's developer program. Now all of this is okay, and now that this is done, we can go ahead and go File, Build Settings, and Build for iOS. Make sure that Run in Xcode as Release is set. Development build should be unset, and also we need to of course save our scene. Let's go ahead and Control S, and I'm going to just set this open scene into the scene build, so when I build the game, this scene will run. Well, let's just go ahead and create the main menu very quickly before we build this. So I'm going to go ahead and click File, New Scene, and I'm just going to set the camera's background color to be black. Actually, let me just see what color we used in the previous. Main menu, okay. Alright, we use that color. Let me copy the hex code of this color, and let's navigate back to our main menu, click on main camera, background, and now just paste the hex color here. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead to prefabs and get one of these full circles into our game. I want this to be rotating, and when I click, I'm going to right play here. When I click on it, I will load the next scene. So to have text, we need to create a canvas, and in the canvas we need to have text. The text will say play. Of course it needs to be white so it can be read very easily. I will set the size to maybe 50, and we need to increase the height and width of the text so it can be displayed properly. Let me just, it's centered, let me just move it on the X for maybe 25, actually 30, and on the Y minus 20, minus 15, minus 10, okay. So now if we run the game, we have this play, and if we click on it, we will just load the next level. To be able to do that, let's go ahead and actually we can just have a simple script. We can attach it to any game object, which will just look for player input. So wherever you click, it's going to load the next level. Very simple. So I'm going to add component. I will call this level loader. New script, C# script create and add. Let's go ahead and open it up. In the update method, we want to check if the input.getMouse, actually, if input.getMouse button down 0 is pressed. What I want to do is we need to now reference the scene manager. So using Unity engine.scene manager, scene manager dot load scene, and the build index of the scene is going to be 1. If I save this, Unity Visual Studio didn't correct me, so I'm not sure if this is actually going to, if this has been loaded. Scene manager does not exist. Scene management, I think it's called. It's very tricky when Visual Studio doesn't give me examples, so you need to learn everything by heart, and I don't appreciate that type of learning. There we go, it's scene management. So now if I load this, if I click on anything, it's reloading this scene, and that is because we didn't add this scene to the build settings. And now if I add it up, so you can see the main menu is the 0th scene and our game is the first scene. So when the game loads up on your phone, first main menu will be loaded, and then if we click from our script, we will load the scene with index 1, which is our game. So now if I run this, and if I click on anything, we load our game. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to go to File, Build Settings, and make sure that iOS is selected and click Build. I'm going to go to Desktop and create a new folder here. Call it iOS Build. Actually, I already have a folder name. Let's call it iOS Build Color Switch. Hit Enter, select folder. Let me do that again. iOS Build Color Switch. Select folder. Why do you? Okay, there we go. So now it's building for iPhone, and it's going to be built in that folder. And as soon as this finishes building, I'll be back with you, so you don't have to wait and look at this. Actually, it's going pretty fast, so let's just wait for it. So now when this finishes building, we will need to switch to a OS X operating system, so we can use Xcode and actually publish our game to our phone or to the market, you'll see Xcode does cause a few issues which can be tedious to solve because there aren't many answers on Google. You can't find many answers easily. You have to really look for them. So that's why we wanted to make this course and really show you how to avoid those mistakes and errors in Xcode, because that might be one reason why the Google App Store is more crowded. Google Play Store is much more crowded with apps than the Apple App Store, because you saw how easy it was to build for Android. And the way we built for Android, you could literally just open up Google Play Store, pay $25 and upload your app. It would be out in about 24 hours, I think. But with Apple, you can now see this is how our build looks. We have 1, 2, 3. We have a few folders and a ton of these other files. But for Android, you will just have one file .apk. So it will be called colorswitch.apk. And this is how a build for iOS looks like. And I'll show you in the next lecture what we're going to be doing with these files. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next lecture.